You said I drove Volkswagens for a long time. I had a 2001 GTI, a 2004 GTI, a 2005 Mark V plain old Jetta,
Wow.
a 2007 GLI, and then a 2017 Alltrack. I love the hatchback look and I love the hatchback versatility. And then someone described this as a hatchback and then I couldn't stop seeing it as such.
Yeah. Hey friends, welcome back to another podcast about EV ownership. Today we are here with our friend Gwon.
Hi.
A couple months ago, well, more than half a year ago, right?
Yeah, November.
November, you switched to an EV. And this is the beautiful EV. So, Gwon, what is that?
It's a Hyundai Ioniq 5, 2023 limited edition.
So you bought it used?
Yes.
And you bought it for almost half of a price of a brand new.
That's correct.
So why did you want to go electric? Was there any specific reason to go electric?
Well, I'll be honest with you, I liked how the car looked.
Okay, I agree.
The fact that it is electric, it was important, right? Gasoline prices. My car, the Jetta, as you probably know, well, the GLI is a premium gasoline.
Yeah, so pricey. So this was even before any straits were closed.
Correct.
And before it was the spikes.
A little bit political, but not quite, right?
Yeah,
not as political as it is now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that got tiresome. And after having that car for so long, it was just, it was time. And it was kind of, for me, right place, right time. And, it made sense. And now, fast forward till today, now my house has 2 EVs. And so that's,
okay.
we're fully bought in.
Hint to subscribe so we can see what the other Hyundai, electric Hyundai, is in the house.
There you go. It's a cliffhanger.
It's a cliffhanger, yeah. So what do you mostly love about the this car?
Well, I love the size of it. I love that it's kind of a hatchback on steroids, so to speak.
Yeah.
I love the hatchback look and I love the hatchback versatility. And then someone described this as a hatchback and then I couldn't stop seeing it as such.
Yeah.
So, I love the tires on it, or the wheels, the limited edition
wheels.
Oh
yeah,
for
these
the 23.
wheels are sick. Like they're almost like arrow wheels.
Yeah.
But they look really sick.
Something about those versus the ones they came out with, the triangle ones what are the new versions, the 2025, 26, they're okay. The limited ones, but these ones I just fell in love with. It's just going from this car to the, from the Jetta to this car, a 20-year-old car to something that's 3 years old, it's
mind-boggling, right?
It was
like
mind-boggling.
how much the industry jumped.
It was overwhelming. It was the learning curve was different. Take the EV out of it, right? And the range anxiety, which was a thing, but now is not a thing at all.
Okay, I'm glad it's not.
Just learning the tech was challenging.
Yeah, so we can look at the tech, but let's admire a car from the outside. And we do have some like a small face-to-face comparison here with the ID.4, right? So you see that the Ioniq almost like slopes further, like quicker to the front. And the light bar, where they have the radar and the front camera. So this is the front camera. These are your main headlights, right? They seems like they sit a little lower. So I think that's one of the aspects that make the car look like more sedanish than SUV-ish.
Side by side, I never even thought about that, but you're right.
Yeah, and I even love that they thought about these details. Like, of course, the cubic design, like that's, even the tow hook has this square plug. So that's awesome. And plus, your shutters are electronic. So meaning that this only opens when the car needs it, compared to the ID.4, where the shutters are, of course, open all the time, and there is a shutter behind the heat exchanger. Okay, now looking at it from the side, I was really amazed by the quality of materials, and because this is the limited trim, right? Like, look at how many materials you have here. And by the way, this paint is magical. Like, what is the name of the paint?
Gravity Gold Matte.
Gravity Gold Matte. So I thought it would be more goldish than silverish, but I feel like it's more silverish. And then look at the trim down here. There are like multiple different materials that are combined and kind of wrap around the car. So the design is really amazing. And these lights. Whoa. This is so cool. This is really so cool. And then the rear spoiler or the rear wing has some like space that goes through, right? So it's like hollow, and so it's to improve the aerodynamic resistance. And so it's sloping down maybe quicker than the ID.4, but I don't know, it kind of feels similar. Like when you look at the ID.4 at the back, it kind of, yeah, it slopes down, but maybe your Ioniq slopes down quicker. But sweet. So you do have frunk. It's just a tiny frunk, but you have one, right? And the door handles are very different than on the ID.4. So how did you get used to the handles? Not a problem?
Not really. You know, you just pull them out.
Yeah, pull them out. Yeah, that's natural, right?
Yeah, it's. I think where it gets a little nerve-wracking is if the battery is dead.
Yeah, that's right.
But so far so good, right?
Oh, so it's even on struts?
Yep.
And wow, so sizable. It's not like super big,
No.
but it's a sizable space for your charger, for example. So I like that.
Cabin filters in here. I just changed it a few weeks ago.
Oh, cabin. Oh, it's here.
Yep, it's
Oh, pull this like this. Oh, sweet.
so. And then
And
this
it's
little
over
guy, that's
there.
it, yep.
Ah, I see. So it seems like the engineers at Hyundai did something similar, like the engineers on the VW, that they moved the AC unit outside of the cabin. So it sits in outside of the car, which means that the car inside of the cabin is quieter. So sweet.
See, I did not know that.
Nice. So it's, oh, and they even have this anti-rattle mat. Well, it's really good thought through. And hey, look at this. There's some
Foam
insulation
seal,
foam around it. So like that's a proper proper frunk here.
I don't use it, but
Yeah.
it's there.
Cool. That's it. Sweet. So you do have it fully loaded. So it has the front camera. It also has cameras in the mirrors, right? So it gives you the 360 degree. It also has some sort of level of autonomy. So if you're driving on a highway, like
highway drive assist.
Yeah. How does it work? How are you feeling about that?
I feel all right about it. You know, I don't take a ton of road trips, so I can't say for me, I don't use it a ton. I did have, like, talking about my old car to the new car, right? I didn't have any sort of steering assist in the Jetta.
Yeah.
And in this there is. So I turned that off because for me personally, when it's taking the curves, I find it's not centered in the lane enough for my comfort.
For your comfort.
I mean, it might be adequate on like a gentle curve, but if it's a little bit more windy, I feel more comfortable having my hands on the wheel. And even so, the car is a bit of a babysitter because if you don't have, I'm not driving hands-free. It's not a hands-free unit.
Neither is the ID.4.
But you know, even if I'm just one-handing, it'll say, "Hey, put your hands back on the wheel."
Yep.
So for the babysitting features and things like that, I'm more likely to just turn it off. Though, the farthest I've driven anywhere in it is down to Tacoma.
Okay.
So it's only been 40 miles.
40
I haven't
miles,
taken a long road trip.
Yeah.
But you know, if it was heading eastern Washington or something, I might want to try that just to, you know, it's straighter. It's a little bit more basic.
Yeah, I agree. For these long roads, it's definitely great. And also your car architecturally compared to the ID.4. So the ID.4 is building on the 400 volt battery architecture, and the EGM platform from Hyundai and Kia and Genesis, they're using 800 volt, which means that your DC charging can be cut almost to half. Well, it's not exactly half, but the DC charging can be faster. So if you're thinking about going on a long road trips, if you want to cut the charging sessions, the duration of charging, then this is definitely the right platform. Let's get to the inside. So,
sorry, man.
of course, so please jump in. So of course they haven't experimented like the VW guys with like rethinking switches here. So I'm glad that this is like the real deal, right? And so you also test drove the ID.4. What were you thinking about this now when you have your Ioniq for 6 months?
What do you mean?
Like how did that feel any different? Because you were a VW guy. Like did the ID.4 feel more like Volkswagen-ish, like more being at home?
I think we drove one with my wife because she was interested in one, and what we liked was just the VW-ness of it, right? The fit and finish was great. It's a beautiful car, all that. What we didn't love was how, I think the one she drove was a 22 or 23. The dash was a little fussy, right? Up here,
yeah, the small instrument,
very small instrument panel, which I didn't love. You know, this was okay. We couldn't figure out how to get it out of the regenerative braking for someone like her, which she had never driven.
Between the D and B?
Yes.
I see, okay.
And granted, that's something we could learn very quickly.
Sure,
right? But in the moment she's driving, why does it feel like the car's stopping or pulling?
I see.
So that got a little challenging for her. But, you know, I think given what she ended up getting, versus something like the ID.4. For her, the ID.4 is just too big. She's a proponent of a smaller car. Well, we got smaller.
And by the way, I wish that both Hyundai and Kia would sell their smaller siblings that are available in Europe, and the ID.3 would be available here in the US as well, because it's like a Golf size. It's like a perfect size for many people as a second car. It's a no-brainer. But hey, what do I know?
Right.
Cool. So you have fully electric seats, and I'll jump next to you just to admire. But what is so cool is that they even have these. This is in the VW world. This is Audi-like, meaning the memory buttons are on the side of the door, right? Versus like here in my car, and you have heated and ventilated seat. You don't have massage seat.
No.
But you have the zero gravity feature. So if you're charging,
I can't remember. Let's see.
Then,
oh no, I got it. I think it's. I have to push it twice.
I see.
First, it warns me. It says, "Make sure nothing's behind you."
I see. Okay, because it probably wouldn't like their knees. Ooh.
I hardly ever use this, but I did when my wife went to Target the other day, and I did not need to go in.
It has you have a knee support?
Yep.
So it's almost like premium economy, like flying premium economy now, right?
It's my version of first class. I'll never know it otherwise.
Love it. Okay, sweet.
Oops.
Sweet. So that is definitely a great feature. And so as you tweak the seat back to normal, I would go sit behind you. So now maybe, press it twice. There we go. Yeah, okay. So now maybe I'll just quickly go sit behind you.
Pardon all the junk.
There is so much space here. Holy smokes. Like, look at that.
Well, I'm not huge either, so.
Yeah, but still, there is a lot of, so like no problem. But, and the AC vents are on the B pillar. That is great because they're higher, and of course charging is here.
Here's the V2L in case you wanted to see that.
Oh, and there is a real 12-volt battery here. 112-volt socket.
Yep,
Somehow.
Oh, it's locked. I see.
It's locked. Okay.
Yeah, there's a button that says lock, unlock. I think you gotta stick a key. I don't even think I've ever opened it.
Okay. Okay. Sweet. But hey, so you can power an appliance. So if you're
I've heard it's super efficient too, where people say, you know, I powered my fridge and the computers and this and that and the other thing overnight.
Let's stay in. I'll go next to you because I also see that you have head-up display.
Yep.
That none of the ID.4s were getting before. And again, the materials here really nice. I like how they brought the boxy design, the boxes inside of the car. And this middle console is movable, right? Yeah. Whoa. Cool. So you have this space that is different than in the ID.4. You can put a lot of stuff. So now, how is? Thank you for turning on ventilated seats, because we didn't have that on those early ID.4s. And I see that you have kind of combination of touch buttons. So the Klima has dedicated buttons, but they're still
they're capacitive.
They're capacitive, but there's no even haptic feedback. You just hear the click in the infotainment. It is what it is. You get used to it. It's kind of a drag. Totally. You can use voice to control it, but it's very fussy. It's fussy. Okay.
I don't even know.
On the ID.4.
I haven't studied the commands, so I don't know.
I see. And then this is the 360 camera. Whoa, that is a really nice resolution, actually.
Yeah, so check this out too. This, I don't know, it's not as useful.
Oh, I see. So it's like the, because we have our door are open, so that's why
that's right.
The 360 wasn't working, but whoa.
But it is something that I find invaluable now, right? Especially this view, where even if it doesn't pop up, I will manually hit it to see am I in the lines.
Exactly. Yes, when you park, right?
And so my wife's car, she's got a 24. I won't spoil what it is, but it shows a little bubble around it.
Oh.
And that bubble will turn red or green depending on how much space.
Oh.
It's a little too fussy for me, but you know, she seems to like it a lot.
I see. And can you like see? So you can see the rear. Can you like switch? Oh, you can switch.
Different angles.
Yeah, this is the
so
side.
that must be the mirrors.
Oh, that's the front.
And
I see.
If I put it in drive, I think we should be able to see. There's the front.
Oh yeah, this is the front camera. Yep. Yeah. Cool. And of course, this is your shifter. So this is shifter, and this is the regular wiper design. And then this driver's display. It's a big driver's display, unlike on the ID.4. If you run in navigation, do you see a map there? Or?
I see directional arrows.
Directional arrows. I see.
So if I hit this is the OEM version of it. Their navigation. It's not bad, though. I was in downtown on Capitol Hill last week, and it told me to turn down a bunch of one ways. Which,
okay.
So there's my arrow.
Oh, I see. So it's in the middle. So the arrow is in the middle, and plus you also have the head-up display.
Yeah. Right now it just shows miles per hour.
Miles per hour.
Yeah.
You're standing,
That's
so that's
zero.
why it shows 0. But the beauty of the head-up display is that it shows you these arrows as well, so you can keep focusing on the road. And it's also the augmented reality, I think. Right?
On this part of the dash, it is. So what you'll see if you're driving with the highway drive assist, little blobs, that much like a Tesla, right? When you see the big display and you'll see the 3D models of the cars. I have my little 3D model here, and on either side of the car or in front, you'll see they look like spam cans. Just a polygon that just goes up and down the side. So it's fairly primitive, but it does kind of give you an idea of what's around you without you having to check all your blind spots.
Okay, cool. So you see the other cars and the traffic around you. Okay, sweet. So you've had the car for 6 months now. Would you do it again? Is there something that you really like about this, or is there something that you would wish is different?
No, I mean, yes, it's a huge step up from what I had.
Yeah.
Or had.
Well, Mark's 20-year-old car, right?
Or even from my wife's, the Alltrack. We had a 2017 Alltrack. So it had a touch screen, it had a back rear view camera, it push button start. So those are all new tech to us when we got it in 2019. Yeah. Big moonroof, and we love that. Would I buy this again? Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. I would love to get like a Ioniq 5N. I mean, that's super rich, but gorgeous car. You know, you can do the external sounds. So it's got all the cool bells and whistles that
even pretend shifting. Right?
For nerdy guys like us, you know, does it add to the day-to-day, you know, getting from point A to point B? Not necessarily.
But it adds to the fun.
Oh my God, so it's so cool, right?
Point A to point B, right?
And that's, you know, stuff I love, right? What do you end up loving about this, right? The instant torque.
Instant torque,
right?
yes.
If I see a spot and you know, I don't want to drive too crazy, but I know I can get through.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a lot wider than my Jetta was. So within the first week, I nicked the front of it coming out of my garage twice. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Because my garage comes out, I have to turn as I pull out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so as I was gauging it, you know, I have maybe, I don't know, 5-6 inches on either side of the mirror. I can do this as I.
Oh, you can fold the mirrors.
Yeah, on demand. So that's kind of cool.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So you can fold the mirrors from the garage.
Yeah, if I'm too close to one side.
Yeah.
Also, when I put it in reverse, the mirrors will automatically tilt down.
Tilt. Yeah, I love it.
That's new to me as well.
So there was some. It already did it.
Yeah.
And there's, if you put the car back in D, you see that the mirror is moving, and that's automatic. By the way, that could be coded also on the ID.4. Sweet. So we talked about the infotainment, the drivability. We also admire actually your physical.
I know, isn't that cool?
That looks like a BMW. No, seriously. Get closer on this, because you can not only use it to lock and unlock the car, right? Also, you can open the charging flap from here and potentially unlock the charging connector. You can open the trunk, yes. But these two are for pulling in and out from a tight parking spot. So it's like your remote controlled car.
Yes. It's a little weird. I'm not gonna lie. I've done it a few times, not in the real world, but just to see how it works.
How it works, yeah.
And it's interesting for sure. It's like, and it's even got auto parking. Like we can pull up somewhere, hit the button, and it'll parallel park or back and whatever. Yep. It's too slow though.
Yeah.
You know, you've heard these complaints, right?
Does it cautiously? I kind of get it.
And that makes sense, but like, unless it's like super duper tight or I'm super like spatially challenged, I'm like, I'm not going to hold up people in a parking lot
Yeah.
so I can get all fussy and let me get out of my car and park it.
Yeah.
But, you know, like to your point of if we've all been there, right? You come out to your car, how am I going to get in? This guy boxed
exactly.
me in.
Too
Then
close,
I can,
right?
it's easy enough to hold it down, start it, and just move it forward 10 feet so I can
Yeah.
get in my car
Get it
and be on with my day. So.
Sweet. So is there anything else what you want to share with somebody who's thinking about their first EV?
So you were saying earlier, before we started the recording, right? Some things, what don't you have? Like no wireless CarPlay or Android Auto. I have an Android. I had to buy this little dongle.
Oh, so there is a aftermarket solution.
Yep. AA wireless, and it does everything I need it to do.
Oh, that's perfect. But the later models already have it.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah.
And they likely have the new software system. It's just a new iteration of it. It's very similar. You know, their home screen is, instead of being really busy like a phone, it's got one or maybe 4 or 5 columns.
Oh, like the tiles that you can pin.
Yes, and they actually show relevant information. Like it might say map, and it'll be a small picture of the map, and it'll show radio, and it'll show what you're listening to. Versus here, this is literally like a settings page, right?
Oh, so there's no like a home screen. That's the home screen.
Yes, I mean if I'm in map, I can have these things.
Oh, I see the site. So you can split the map into separate. That is very helpful. This is awesome. Okay, got it.
Some of it is kind of silly. I mean, I've got sports on here. It's very basic, right? They don't want you watching play by play.
No, of course you can. But.
Weather, and then whatever's on the radio.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's helpful.
And then what was the other thing? It does allow for a digital key down here and wireless charging.
Digital key, so meaning your phone?
Yes, so I hardly ever carry my keys around, but I brought it just in case. Normally I just hit my phone down here. So here's another thing. It takes a minute, right? I have to unlock my phone and start do I have to? I think I just have to unlock the phone, which I guess makes sense, right?
To authorize it. Yeah,
so it's got to sit there, I hit the power button, and then it starts. In my wife's car, it's almost instant. Because it's using the Samsung, or she has a Samsung phone, it uses Samsung Wallet.
Oh, I see.
This one is using NFC, but it's basing it off of the Hyundai Blue Link app.
The app, yeah.
Or the digital key.
Yeah, I see.
There's 2 different levels. You got the Blue Link, which gives you this, which gives you a remote start, which gives you
so those subscription.
The subscription based, and I have it free through October, I think. And whether I keep up with it, I'm not sure yet. It's handy, like in the wintertime, right?
Yeah.
Warm up the car.
Warm up the car, exactly.
But where we work, I have covered parking, so my car it's a little
inside.
cool, but it's protected. Yeah. My wife, she would park outside, and she has not had the luxury of a remote start yet. She will this winter.
Okay.
So that'll be nice for her. But you know, they're all nice to have. But for me, it's not necessarily a deal breaker.
Cool. And you have the panel roof as well. That's it's gorgeous. And there's this shade. You cannot open it. It's fixed roof. Right. Oh, so it closes from both sides. So it's way faster than on the ID.4. And that is super cool.
Yeah,
actually.
I can stop it.
You can stop it wherever you need. Yeah, that's awesome. Sweet.
What else can I show you?
So maybe we can quickly go to take a look at the interior of the ID.4 and then do maybe quick comparison of the back, and that's it.
Sure. Let's go.
Yeah. As you can notice, we have now moved to the ID.4 to compare and contrast. And Gwon is just saying that he has the same thing, so he has to agree to be able to use the system. And it's like the infotainment is very similar, but it has also these tiles that you can pin, like what you.
So you can customize that.
You can customize.
That's pretty
you
cool.
can press and hold it. Maybe,
I think I can customize those individual, these types of tiles.
These
like you have widgets. Your widgets are far more.
Right?
Yeah, I can customize those,
this,
but they don't show me anything, right?
But
they're just shortcuts.
Don't show you. You cannot.
Correct.
Do like these tiles. So that's
what the little side screen is for.
I see. And then this driver's display is very different, of course, than on your Ioniq, because it's just much smaller.
No, it's cool though. What I was telling you earlier, I love the Marrakesh or whatever this brown is called, right?
Oh, you do?
Our Alltrack had the same thing, only it was in the seats. So the seats were this color, but the console was dark. So I do miss that because my son's got that car now. I like this little side window here, gives you some more visibility.
Tiny ones.
I mean, they're kind of superfluous, but it's nice to have because these mirrors are so huge, right?
Yeah,
they or the A-pillars as well. You have a sight line right there.
Yeah.
Love the steering wheel. I do wish my car had a third spoke. I like the third spoke.
So this has the
Mine
third
is
spoke?
just it's kind of like an old school, like, you know, like a Buick or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. Have you seen the new BMWs? They have
No.
the spokes like on the top and on the bottom. It's
Oh, is that right?
completely
Like
weird. Like that.
12
yes.
o'clock?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
It's weird. Yeah.
Interesting.
I know.
And then, like, you know, you called out the pass-through, right? This.
Yep.
So, it's neat on my car, but I don't use it for anything. It's just space.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit less claustrophobic. I'm not someone that's so big that I'm banging my knees into anything. But, you know, I do find I miss having something here. Like, you used to have a shifter, right? My Jetta had a shifter here.
Yeah,
I could put my arm here, rest my hand here. I could touch all my buttons. Now, you know, much like this, right? To touch these buttons, you got to kind of glance at it, which I
That's
don't love.
That's the problem. I agree.
And on my car, there's I didn't call that, but it's motion based.
Yeah,
I didn't even touch it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's this feature.
Or
that
it's,
is,
you get close.
That was the controversy because then they couldn't make these sliders backlit. And so you have this swiping motion because there are sensors for your hand, right? That and you see how it works.
Yeah. Or it doesn't work. But on my car, there's something like this, and I end up resting my hand on it to touch my.
And it's super helpful.
Yes.
Like having bigger space here to rest your hand on for touching. It's because you stabilize your hand, right?
Yeah,
because as you're driving, your hand bumps.
100%, man. That's the whole thing, right? Your touch screens are so cool when you get them. But then even a remote control at home, I have a touch screen remote for my TV. It's like, I like the Roku remote because I know where my thumb goes.
Yes,
with that touch screen, I'd be like,
100%.
oh, where am I pushing?
And that was the reason why we have done the retrofit here. So these buttons are from Atlas. Like this comes from Atlas because we had only
the
touch,
capacitive, like this.
Capacitive. Yes. And these are from Skoda. And the
Please wait.
He's here.
Okay, thank you, Siri, or whoever you're called. And then the buttons they're from Audi.
The light buttons?
The window buttons, actually.
Okay.
The window buttons are from Audi, and the lock unlock button there is also it's like fully 3D printed based on like
nice.
Audi inspired. So there's like a lot of we can do now with 3D printing and all that stuff. So
now, does yours have the LED that lights up when you do the signal?
Yes. It does have the ID light, they call it. It only stretches in the front of the front screen, and it does things like when you need to pay attention to the road, when your navigation is on, it shows you directions. But mine doesn't have the head-up display because these versions didn't have the head-up display. But even like if this is a used car, I would just definitely buy that because even like yes, a lot of people criticize the infotainment, and even like Hyundai has evolved the infotainment, right? VW has evolved the infotainment too. But I was sitting with somebody in Europe who got fully loaded Skoda Enyaq, which is pretty much the same size of this as this car, but it's a little bit more luxurious than this. And the fact that the infotainment is older, it just doesn't bother them, right? It's like still like a really solid car. So if you can get used car, either the ID.4 or the Ioniq 5, like that's I think it's a great value.
Yeah. One thing I learned, I don't know if it's the OEM tires or what it is. When there's some water on the road, if I go a little bit quicker than I'm, if I'm not thinking right, that thing will understeer.
Oh.
Like, that sweeping turn when you're going I-90 coming out of Seattle heading east on I-90 before you hit the Mount Baker Tunnel, and it kind of veers to the left.
Oh, yeah.
I've hit that going a little bit faster, and the freaking thing slides.
Oh, the thing slides.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's the oil on the road.
So it could be aquaplaning or something, maybe. It's hard to say what it is.
So what I'm doing is when there's precipitation, Art, let's chill out.
No, I think it's just physics, right?
Yes, it's heavier. I'm getting used to the car.
Yes, it's heavier. I thought like I would cut a corner with this as with Jetta, and I learned very quickly, absolutely no way. Because like you can stop the Jetta on a dime.
Yeah.
Not this. Like when you hit the brakes, like you feel the weight.
There's been a few times I'm slowing down, and it's like, okay, I
Yeah,
made
exactly.
it. I mean, I know I'm going to make it,
Yes, exactly.
but it's a little, you clench a bit.
Yes.
How's your turning radius?
So this one is great. The rear-wheel drive only is even better.
But not great.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard is a downside for the Ioniq 5. But like I think if somebody is kind of considering these cars, like if you test drive it, you see what fits you.
And I mean, it's not a deal breaker. You learn to live with it.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a very, very minor inconvenience at best, right?
Yep.
Oops, got to back up. Okay,
Back up
now,
and
now
yeah,
I go.
do it again. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sweet.
Nice.
Nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. We're gonna look at the trunks.
Yeah, let's look at the back. Looking at the trunk space, just like
So to about this
38 inches.
38 inches
Okay.
by opening wise, we're looking just over 40, almost 41.
40. Okay, and let's take a look at the height because I feel like it's not as deep as on the ID.4.
Like to where? Underneath here?
Yeah, like let's do
So it's about
somewhere here.
about 14 to 15
14,
inches.
15 inches.
Yeah.
And then what's below this here?
So there is, I don't even know.
You don't even. Oh,
Tire mobility kit. I think this is a subwoofer.
that's the subwoofer because you have the premium audio. Yeah, yeah, very likely. Okay.
But
How interesting.
yeah, I did not get a charging cable when I bought the car, so I'm using my brother's old L1 cable. That's what you get when you buy used.
Yeah.
But I did get this net and that tire mobility kit.
So it doesn't have a spare wheel either. Right?
No.
Yeah.
It's got some, it fills it with foam or something.
Yeah, yeah. That's the same idea, and it's electric, right? So you can
Yes.
press it, and
So the first time I had it in my garage, right, it opens up.
all the way. Yeah.
I think that probably happens every
Yes.
electric door open, because I didn't have one of those. It just kept going and going, crunch. Luckily, no harm.
No
So
harm.
we're
Okay.
good.
And you can of course program the
Yes,
top.
the height and the speed. I think mine is on slow. Yours just it opens so quick.
Oh, does
so
it?
I might need to adjust my speed to open a little bit quicker.
So let's measure
Oh,
this trunk as well here.
So depth-wise, I don't. Oh, and you have a center passenger. My
I do
Jetta
have a
had
center.
that.
Yes.
The Alltrack
That
had
is-
that.
I love this.
My
for
car does not have that,
skis
yes,
and
or
like
just jump,
hauling 2x4s. Exactly.
But that's about 36, just under.
That's the same thing. Yours were
Yes,
38.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
then it was 41 on the width. This is about 42 if
yeah,
we're
so-
straight.
And
this
then the height,
is
if you
quite a
measure
bit
it to
taller, I think.
this, here,
So that's 17 inches at the bottom of it
17. But
to right here. Yeah.
but there's more space
Yeah,
down,
you can-
down below, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
I have like so
That's
this is the double double wall.
Yeah.
Or,
I remember
double ceiling.
in the Alltrack we had that.
And
You
plus,
could.
there's some extra storage here
great,
as
dude.
well.
Oh, your cable's down there. And
So if you measure it from like here to there,
That's 22.
22. Wow.
Just under 22, 21 and a half about.
Okay. Sweet. Yeah. So it's tiny bit bigger, and the pass through is really useful.
Yeah, that's clutch. That is super clutch.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so we are standing at the backs of our cars, and we are admiring the beautiful design of the Ioniq, and also
Ah.
Gwon's band. So you play bass guitar,
Yes, sir.
awesome. So follow him
Yep.
to get a little bit excited. What
Yeah.
type of music are you playing?
It's rock and roll, indie rock.
Indie rock.
Yeah.
Sweet. So if you like that,
Check it out.
check it out. And so comparing the Ioniq 5 and the ID.4. So you see that the Ioniq 5, these louvers at the back, or would you call them louvers? How would you call them?
It's a vent. I don't know.
It's a vent, yeah.
From what I read, right, the air comes through. It's supposed to push the water
Yes.
off the rear
Oh, and
windscreen.
so that's why you don't have the rear wiper.
Correct.
Aha.
And maybe it works good in like
On
hurricane.
paper.
Yeah, on paper. On hurricane force winds. Real life, having lived through it with one winter, it's kind of like the turning radius. It's not a deal killer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not like you're going to walk away. There's aftermarket solutions. I think there's one called the Gecko or something. It's magnets or suction cup. You can buy it and put a little button in your car and it'll do a wiper.
Oh,
But
interesting.
I think I would prefer just keeping the OEM look than,
Yeah,
than
yeah,
slapping
yeah.
and risk losing it too, right?
Risk losing exactly on the highway, like you don't know when it's flying out. But also, if you apply some Rain-X or
Yeah, yeah.
some solution that flows the water, it might be better.
Yeah.
So
The bottom of the
the
bumper.
bottom
there, yeah.
trim, and again, very intricate, different materials, like these reflections. Of course, the rear camera, it's not washed with
Nope.
your wiper, which
Nope.
the ID.4 is.
That's pretty cool.
But yeah, other than that, that looks pretty sweet. And then quickly looking at the ID.4, there are no louvers, right?
It's one piece.
The top is one piece. Yes, we have a wiper here at the back, and these are Euro taillights. But right here is a rear camera that is actually washed when you wash your back screen. And yeah, and that's the charging flap. So I'm actually impressed that even on the Ioniq, the charging is on the same side. I mean, on the passenger side. And you can remote open it. Wow, how cool is that?
I drove it to work the other day. I forgot to close it after I charged it home. I got out of my car. I was like, oh shoot. I
But
better
you can
close
close it from the car, right?
it from here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
you
from
can,
inside the car, yeah.
from inside.
I didn't notice it till I got to work.
Yeah,
that was
but,
the problem.
Oh, but I cannot. Like when I
If you
accidentally
yeah.
keep it open,
Yeah, this is what
I have to stop and walk around and close it. Ron, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thanks so much. Was fun. We are so thrilled to have you.
Thanks. It's good to be here.
Thanks so much for watching. Hit the subscribe button to check the next episode. Thank you. Bye.